Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are joined once again here by Haley Sparks from Amarillo, Texas. She's the owner and founder of her own company. It's called Rebuilt Life Coaching. So she's here to talk us through her holistic nutrition coaching and, of course, the importance of nutrition, how she can help you and tailor each and every individual to her 90-day program. And she has other programs. And again, she can help you with your diet, with your needs. And again, we'll talk about our long-term failure, and I know sugar has a lot to do with that. Haley, welcome back today. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to talk about these topics too, because we all kind of, I feel like, have this in common. We struggle together on this. So, no shame here, no guilt, just knowledge.
Oh, well, thank you for being here. And how can we contact you?
So, Rebuilt Life Coaching is my website. It has all the good stuff on there. So, my phone number, my email address, and also my social media. I'm super active on Instagram and Facebook. So, I know we're always on social media. If you're on there, look me up, Haley Sparks Pullen. But of course, if you go to my website, you're going to have access to all of those things.
Yep, you can click right on the link on the top, and I see you there. Rebuilding our lives through faith. Excited to have you here. I
Mm-hmm.
know your backstory. You transitioned from full-time entrepreneurship with nutrition coaching. You
Right.
mentioned to pursue what God was laying in your heart, right? Could you just tell us a little
Right.
more about that? And then we're going to get
Okay.
into today's
Yeah.
topics.
Yeah, so I actually rebranded my company 2 years ago. It was called Sparks Transform Nutrition. But 2 years ago, I became a born again Christian and really just started living my life for God, and not lukewarm, but just all in. And that changed things for me in my program. I really felt like we were missing. Of course, I was teaching the root causes, right? But felt like we were missing a big picture to it when we don't realize who we're really fighting in this whole battle. So we go through it with faith, with confidence, and just knowing that we do have the victory on the other side of this when we know that we have the authority over the devil, and over the enemy here. So I incorporate a lot of mindset and your faith into my 90-day program because I feel like believing in something and having faith is super crucial in hope and just having a positive outlook on things.
Well, thank you for being here. And I know you're really interested and compassionate and empathetic to those with their nutrition needs. And speaking of nutrition for today, I know as a coach, you're going to break down some things about sugar. And it's something I think a lot of us crave, right? And sugar being in, unfortunately, a lot of our diets. Let's just talk about why do people have sugar cravings?
Yeah. And do you know what my nickname is, Sugar? So there's no hate on that. Like my family calls me Sugar. So there is no shame or hate on that. No. Sugar, here's a really interesting fact. Sugar is, I think it's 7 times more addicting than cocaine. 7 times more addicting than
Wow.
cocaine, the drug. So if you think about that, we've normalized a drug that really is as addicting as a drug that's illegal, like if we consume these things on a regular basis. So there's no reason why we crave them. It's because it's that addicting and we don't know elsewise, right? So sugar is one of those things that, 25 to 32 grams a day for men and women is what they usually say. But being realistic, you can get that through fruits pretty easily. We really just need to think about all the processed stuff that we're consuming because that's super addictive as well because those are just fillers through all the additives and preservatives. So what do is you crave substance, and when our body's lacking minerals and vitamins and protein, it's going to crave sugar. So our body is just unintentionally craving those starchy carbs, and we just unintentionally give into that when we're not eating balanced meals, we're not eating whole foods, we're in a deficit of protein. And so that's why, as a coach gets it down to the individual side of things, I can really nail those things and make it realistic for you.
Got it. Well, by the way, there's all different sorts of sugar too, right? And that's something that I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
ask your help in as well, because I don't understand what's refined, what's not, what's in certain things that are not. Like, is all,
Mm-hmm.
is all sugar bad for us or no?
So no, right? There's those natural sugars that are from like the fruits, and there's things like bread. People fear that bread's going to convert into sugar. All those things. Yes, there are those bad sugars that your body's not able to process and use the right way, but there are good sugars and the glucose that can be used for energy, which is the main thing that we're getting from carbs, and it's our main energy source. So yes, there are good sources of carbs, but it's going to be from whole foods, guys, the things around the perimeter of the store, and not usually the aisles of the store, which are all the processed and packaged stuff, is what I mean by whole foods.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Do you want
Mhm.
to address more about the sugar cravings and how do we can start managing them? So,
Actually,
what is
yes.
really lacking in our body for us to want that?
Right. So many things. You know what? People could be lacking in sleep, and that's causing them to crave sugar because their body's naturally, just like I said, in a deficit of health, like recovery, vitamins and minerals. So
Yeah,
someone who is super
it's
sleep deprived, right? Someone who's
so
super
true.
stressed,
Yeah.
those kinds of things all trigger sugar cravings. Also, if we're not, really conscious about uh, having sugar cravings, like I said, we just give into those things naturally. We got to realize, why am I craving sugar? Am I hungry? Okay, well, if I'm hungry and craving sugar, then I'm still in a deficit of something, because I should, hunger cues are just natural, but craving sugar is a signal that you're lacking something, right? So there's a difference there. So managing sugar, your stress, your cortisol is a huge thing, and that comes from stress in the body. So, eating late at night, we were kind of talking about that, Jill, a little bit. Eating late at night, a lot of times, that's stress on the body because your body's having to go into digestive mode overnight. So then you're not sleeping well. Well, that alone is going to make you start craving sugar, you know, a snowball effect. So there's so many things that can start, allowing us to crave sugar. We've just got to be very mindful and aware, and oftentimes have guidance with this.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing that. And also,
Info
as far
bomb.
as what'd you say?
I said an info bomb.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. What about eating past a certain time? Is it true we're supposed to stop like a certain few hours
Okay.
before we eat? Yeah. Explain this because I'm the worst. I'm the one eating potato chips in my bed at night. Guilty.
Right?
Go
Yeah, we
ahead.
love that. And a lot of times we don't have that decompression time until like late at night. But honestly, here's the thing: people still watch me after this. Yeah, we should stop eating about 2 to 3 hours before bed, because, like I said, people who have that cortisol overload in their body, which is stress, whether it be healthy stress or stress from overactivity, not sleeping enough, too much caffeine. The healthy stress is the things like your body digesting food. However, we don't realize when our body is constantly digesting food, that's a cortisol response for your body. So when we are creating a cortisol response for our body, that's inflammation weight, that's like bloating, that could be acne, things like that. So there's a lot of things that can kind of contribute to your body not getting enough recovery and sleep from it always being in work mode. So yeah, I would suggest 2 to 3 hours before bed. Take the break, let your body kind of wind down, and train your body to wind down at a specific time. So it gets hungry and it knows after you eat that, okay, that's bedtime. So you can train your body also to like get sleepy after dinner time.
Hmm. Interesting. All right. What time do you go to bed? Just curious.
Oh, 8:30.
All right. And so when do you stop
Yes.
eating by?
Well, I would say like seven, like I barely make that 2 hour mark or so. That's realistic for me. I get done around, 7:20, 7:30 or so, and I still sleep pretty well. But I feel like, going that long, like my body's empty of food. I eat dinner, processes it, I sleep well. So individualized, customized. 2 hours would be ideal.
And is it normal? I wake up a lot to pee. What about drinking?
Mm,
Because and I just
that's a good
I
question.
always have to go. I mean I probably shouldn't drink right before
Yeah.
bed. I do, but even if I don't, I still get up a lot.
Yeah, that could be a hormone regulation thing too, Jill. Is like when your body like is in that kind of fight or flight mode throughout sleep. But that comes down to a lot for a lot of people stopping within like 2 hours before bed, right? When people are like, well, I get my water mainly throughout the night. I hear this a lot. Clients are like, well, I'll keep a bottle beside my bed throughout the night and I'll drink my water throughout the night. Well, that's just showing you that your body was really lacking water throughout the day when you're waking up in the middle of the night to go drink, right? But vice versa, maybe like overhydrating is a thing. Okay. It really is a thing. So stopping earlier in the day, I feel like might be just key, at dinner time and then just sipping from there on out, literally.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you for
Mm-hmm.
that. Now, let's
Yes.
also move on and talk about sleep in general. And that
Okay.
is overwhelmingly great for our body. And tell us about the importance of sleep, which I think some of us forget.
Yeah. A lot of times people would rather go work out than sleep, right? I literally had a conversation with a client yesterday. She was like, well, I go work out in the morning, but it's hockey season. So I really want to watch the hockey games that are not over until 12 a.m. I'm like, okay, let's think about this. We've got to prioritize some things. If hockey is something that you're really wanting to watch, the sleep is going to have to be a priority because if you're going to work out in the morning, you're really just doing your body a disservice because you're not recovering for the day. Well, now you're strained for work and your body's in that cortisol phase where it's like fight or flight. I've got to get all my energy resources from probably coffee or caffeine, from sugar, our sugar cravings. If we're not mindful of it, a lack of water is going to be even worse. So we had to have a conversation of like, okay, we've got to really prioritize sleep here in order to recover and last throughout the day. If you want to watch hockey, okay, but you got to sacrifice your workout in the morning. And a lot of times people don't realize that taking that extra 1 to 2 hours of sleep in their day instead of staying up extra at night or going up and working out in the morning, sometimes it really does come down to that. Now, I would say, disclaimer, I would suggest working out in the morning as like a health hack, honestly.
Okay.
But for people that want to, watch the hockey game, watch the baseball game, you need to realize don't be the macho man and still take pre workout in the morning and then go work out on a 4 hour sleep, you know?
Got it. Well, also at this time, let's remind everyone how we could reach out to you.
Okay. Uh, the website, let's go there. Rebuilt Life Coaching. It's going to have all my social media links, which I'm super active on. But you can find that and my contact info, which has my phone number and my email address. So
All
either one there, I'll answer all of them.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I know you're big on that
Mm,
Instagram. I get it. Me too. Okay. So
yeah.
let's continue to talk more about sleeping and working out.
Okay.
Now, it's funny because a lot of people do get up early to go to the gym. I just find, I have to say, it is best to do that early in the morning because I think it
Yeah.
just lags later and later and you push it off, you make
Yep.
excuses and excuses. And for someone out there
Nailed
who
it.
maybe is not used to working out, what would you advise for them? Maybe they need to just start doing it. So just advise. Maybe they can't go to the gym yet. Is it okay to start walking? Could you give us a little,
Mm,
for us newbies? I haven't worked out in years. I don't have time with my kids, but I want to start walking again. But you hear the word workout and
yeah.
it could cause stress to someone out there who maybe has not been in the fitness field. So as far as,
Yeah.
maybe skipping the gym for now, can we start off lightly, do something at home or around the block?
hmm A lot of people don't realize that walking literally is another health hack. Like people need to quit feeling guilty and shameful for not going to the gym and having a hardcore session and feeling super sweaty because something like walking is super productive. It's a health hack, like it's helping so many chronic diseases. It's a cardiovascular thing. So you're really getting your heart in good shape because it's beating a little faster and it's working, right? You're not just sitting on the couch. So I say even to clients, Jill, like even if you're taking a 10 to 15-minute walk in between, the 10 minutes that you have left on your lunch break, or maybe you're on a call instead of sitting on the couch because grandma called, you're walking around the block instead. So think about ways that you can be active or fit 10 to 15 minutes in there and not feel guilty because that's a start and it's a great start because now you're getting motivation from being active. So what was now 15 minutes is going to turn into 30 minutes. What was now a non-negotiable or a negotiable in your week is a non-negotiable because you see how good you feel, right? So a lot of it relies on motivation to start small, but a lot of people don't want to start small. They want to start going into the gym, hitting it hard for 4 to 5 days a week. But finding 15 minutes of the day to just start walking or stretching just stretching before bed, you should find a win in that and just start there. Start there. Think about
Okay.
it the day before. The
Okay.
day before, think about, all right, where do I have 10 minutes tomorrow that I can go on a walk? Boom.
Yeah. All right, thank you
Mhm.
for that. All right, let's also talk about some signs that recovery is what your body is needing.
Yes. So bloating, that's a big one. Okay. We don't need to normalize that. That's a big sign that your body maybe is in a stress mode because that's a sign of high cortisol in your body, which is that stress. So bloating, or maybe your face is like getting poofy, but you don't know why because you're not really eating more. You're actually eating less, but you feel like
Mm-hmm.
you're gaining all your weight in your face, right? That's cortisol. So that means that your body needs some more recovery. So maybe you are sleeping more. Maybe you are taking a 15-minute nap in the afternoon if you're able to do that. Drinking more water, uh, getting less caffeine, those all aid in recovery. It's not necessarily, getting the 10 hours of sleep, right? Because that's not realistic for a lot of people. But you could also get more water in your day, less sugar in your day, also. So, bloating, those are signs. Brain fog is a huge sign of needing some recovery. Let's think. Um, Speaking of brain fog, right? I probably need more hours than 6 hours, right?
Yeah,
Six
right.
hours is not a functional thing. Yeah, those are common signs that people see. Depression is a huge one as well, or being moody, like super moody or irritable. Big sign. Sugar craving, that's a big sign that your body is needing some recovery too, because you're kind of in a fight or flight mode. So naturally, we crave sugar in those types of situations. So we've normalized a lot of things that are actually signs that our body is like, hey, pay attention to me, right? I'm needing something.
Oh, are you there?
Yes, I think
All
it
right, good.
glitched
No,
for a
it
second.
froze for a second. I'm like, oh, wait, we
No.
lost her. No, 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 no. All right, good. Well, also, I know, did you want to share a little bit about the main reasons people sign up with you to start the
Mhm.
coaching process?
Yeah, I think I was doing a presentation yesterday and I was telling people, people think about hiring a coach for the gym. They think about hiring a coach for nutrition, but they don't think about hiring a coach for their stress. They don't think about hiring a coach for their support system or things like their sleep, right? But those all equally matter. And if you're not paying attention to your sleep routine, because maybe you're not working out because it's coming down to your sleep, so if you're not paying attention to your sleep routine, it's worth getting a coach for. So my main clients are ones that have honestly gone through the cycle of being like, do you know what? I realize this is not a diet type thing. It's come down to my activity, which is now my stress. So people that have tried the fad diet, that are kind of at their wits ends, and they're ready to just get healthy for long term, which is kind of sounding like everyone, right? Guys, this is my main client. Like, I want you to have hope in something that's actually realistic. So, really, people that are wanting to do something that's not tracking calories. And I know that sounds broad, but breaking the rules here, and that's what it is.
Also, you've been doing this for how long now?
It's been 7 years for individual coaching.
Awesome. You have the experience, the background, the credentials, which is also an important part of it. You got great testimonials. You've shared a lot of your client stories before too.
Mm.
And just also want to point that out. What else did you want to add?
Uh, also people, I want to say like people also sign up for, it's not just like the diet aspect of it, but like you're learning how to incorporate it for your family. Okay. So people are like, I don't want to learn how to cook 2 meals for dinner. That's a huge hurdle that I often face in a client follow up is I don't want to have to make my own meal because my kids just want chicken nuggets and stuff. I want to incorporate the family into what you're doing because ultimately this is what we're learning for lifestyle. So uh, that's also an ideal client too. If that kind of triggers your mind, it's like, wow, I really do relate with that. I don't like cooking 2 meals at night. Well, I want to teach you how to get your family involved too because it is a life style and family affair type thing. So another ideal client.
And, any age range in particular? What is the youngest
Mm.
you work with, oldest you've worked with?
I think it's like 40s to 50s is a really packed A train that I work with, 40s, 50s. And like I said, it's because they tried the diets in the past and they're kind of like in they're a mall, they got the kids and they're super busy and they don't know how to prioritize themselves. So that's really a big, I work with a lot of moms that are busy and on the go. And we've had to learn how to establish that, hey, it's okay to not have a perfect week. Like we've got to learn how to navigate those types of things. So yes, lost your question at the beginning. I got there on a train. Sorry.
That's okay. No, no, no. So yeah, the three main reasons why people sign up with you, your ideal
Yes.
client, and of course, we're going to get into talking about your program too.
Yes. And so I know that sounds like super broad. So how do we track all of this, right? Well, it is a 90-day program and I have an app that we keep everything combined. And that's what I was doing right before this was checking in on these clients. So we have weekly Zoom calls because I know this takes a lot of accountability. I think it was our last Zoom call that I told people, hey, if you really dedicate, 1 to 2 years of this to your journey instead of like 5 to 6 months, you'll really see the benefits to it. So in the 90 days, what we're working on is building these habits and routines to create some consistency with them, that you can continue to do that after the 90 days. They come off as action steps on your phone so that we can keep track of your compliance. Like, hey, I did this for 6 days straight, right? Or, hey, I bombed that weekend. I can see it, they can see it, and we could talk and navigate it on our calls or in our inbox section that we have total access to communicate. A lot of times in the 12 weeks, like we talk almost every day, like it's very quick, but it's like there's things that come up all the time, but we've got to keep it very goal oriented and linear, or it starts to become just humble jumbled. But that accountability and guidance is where a lot of people are missing their goals. So in the app, we keep track of the action steps, our progress pictures, our messaging, and a training program that I send over that has some nutrition videos just for more education. And let's see, I think that's, yeah, all the things in there impact that.
Oh my goodness. Well, and more to come about your program. And now I know the 90-day program is a signature program, but how do you know that's a
Mhm.
good fit for someone? What is the process? And is there like sheets that you send out with the medical questions, breakdown? Do you recommend they see a doctor before they see you so you can get certain tests
Got it.
done? Yeah, just curious how that part works.
So I can tell when it's more of like a lifestyle type thing that they're missing, right? And when it's more of a medical or a dietitian type situation. So I did have this situation the other day where a lady came to me and she was pronouncing all these diseases that the doctors have diagnosed her with as far as health and GI. And they were just very, very particular on what was causing flare ups. And I know that we could, work around some of those things, but I told her, hey, I do want to say, I'm not a registered dietitian. I feel like maybe seeing a gut doctor would be the first route to see, what's going on. And if they feel comfortable with you seeing a holistic coach instead of a dietitian. And if that was the case and they thought that, maybe it was a stress thing, really, then, and I had to go, then I would be okay. But there are clients that I've turned away just because I'm like, do you know what? That sounds a little technical. I don't want to cause you to die, or go into an inflammatory response or something. But there's also things that I feel very, very confident with, like a diabetic 2 client. I know I'm not a dietitian, but I'm very comfortable working with diabetic 2 clients. So I'll tell my client, hey, not a dietitian, but I'm very comfortable working with you. And we kind of go from there. I'm very transparent as far as that. Yeah.
All right, good. And in our last few minutes together, do you want to share some of the results that people get and what can you
Mhm.
expect? Do you know?
Yeah. So this is if you stick it through, right? And I say that because there's some people, and I made this a 12-week program for a reason.
Yeah.
It used to be a month-to-month
And
thing
you
back
wanted
in the
to share
day.
your screen too, right?
Ooh, can I do that?
Yeah, you have every
Yes.
right to try it.
All right, let's try this out. So I do want to share my screen because, talking about the app and then showing the app, it's just a little different here. But I'm going to take y'all on just a little journey here. So this is a client that I just talked to before we got on the call here. So these are the action steps. So I'm able to see, we're working on her morning routine, which is that breakfast. So she's able to check this off. That pops up as an orange circle on her phone every single day.
Okay.
And then what I do is I provide a lot of info on this. Okay. And then we have some more recipes, a PDF as well. But on the call is where we're getting a lot of that juicy, meaty coaching done, because it's like, okay, we need to establish the routine of like when you're going to go to the grocery store for this, who's going to the grocery store for this, how are you going to know what you're going to get at the grocery store for breakfast. So it's getting down to like the planning of everything. This is just getting it done, but we know that there's background stuff that goes on to get this done. And that's where the calls and then also the communication, really comes in handy here. Now she's a new client, so we haven't talked much, but this is where I send, like I said, those PDFs. She really wanted to find her breakfast motivation from something for her hormones. So I gave her something for that. And then I sent her recipes, and she wanted to learn how to eat something at a restaurant. So again, this is like where a lot of our communication is happening during the week, our compliancy with that, and then we're able to build. So we have all of this that we monitor, and that's where a lot of people are seeing their progress is in their body stats and in their photos. So people can generally expect to lose about 1 to 2 pounds a week, or about 2% body fat a month. So if you're thinking about that, 8 to 10 pounds for the 3 months or so, how long, 10 pounds. When's the last time you've been able to lose 10 pounds and keep it off? Really, people have worked for that for a long time. So that's where we have a lot of that to monitor the progress pictures and the stats.
I love how detailed that it all is. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And if we want to work with you, get the app. How does the process work?
Right. So go to the website. You can also book a free consultation. Excuse me. So at the top, you have book a free consultation. What that is a 30-minute free call where we can talk about, hey, some of the hurdles that you've been facing, if this is a good fit for you. And then we get started with this 60-minute consultation call so I can learn everything about your day in life. And we get started from there.
Got it. All right. Thank you again. Pleasure having you back as always.
Mm-hmm.
And go to the website, rebuiltlifecoaching.com. Check her out on social media pages as well. And of course, what do you have opening up on May 1st? There's something highlighted on your website.
So I have 2 nutrition spots opening. So I only take 6 per month.
Got it. Okay, cool.
I have 4 backed up. So I have 2 spots opening in May.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Have a great day. Great to chat with you today. As always, very thorough. Thank you, Haley.
Thanks, Jill. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.